Welcome back to Movies TV Mad and the Movies TV Mad Daily. This is Movies TV Mad, of course, and we are live on this Thursday, beautiful Cyprus morning. And take a listen to this.
Coming your way, Michael Rosenbaum and I are actually working on an animated series to bring those characters back to life and use as many of the original cast members as possible. Don't tell anybody, though. It's a secret. We're still working on it. And maybe
Well. Everything is happening within the multiverse. The greatest DC live-action property, which is Smallville, has its lead actors, Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum, in the leads of developing an animated Smallville series. And I guarantee you, they will be in the Flash movie as well. Smallville's coming back, everyone. I expect Smallville characters to play a significant part in this multiverse strategy as well. So that's very, very exciting. Wow, Smallville, a Smallville animated series. And thank you, Ronnie Dodge, for telling us about that. So how integral, how important is it about this? Well, if you like Smallville, of course, this is very, very exciting. A Smallville animated series. And thank you, Ronnie Dodge, for linking me with that cameo video from Tom Welling. I'll repeat, Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum and WB are developing a Smallville animated series. So as I say, Smallville was a special decade. It earned the right to be a superhero show. It's very special. In fact, I'm making plans to watch an episode a day of Smallville and do a review of each episode per day, focusing on that rather than anything brand new, because I think Smallville's amazing. I've got other plans for the channel as well, of course, but Smallville was a special thing. Right, this Movies TV Mad Daily is really dedicated to this film here. Over 32 years since Batman 89 released. Today, I want your thoughts on this movie, negative or positive or whatever. I love this movie. This movie was absolutely sensational. This was the first real Batman movie ever. I mean, I know Batman 66 did a movie and it was great. Don't get me wrong. But this was special. To me, this film has my heart. I mean, Jack Nicholson was probably the hugest casting in CBM history at that point, since Marlon Brando played Jor-El in Superman the movie. And I mean, the rest of the cast ain't too shabby either. Now, Michael Keaton's casting was treated very negatively at the start. People saw him as a balding actor. He didn't have a big frame. Those days, it was about Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Van Damme. And so people couldn't understand why Keaton had this role. Well, Keaton had this role because he did really well on the Beetlejuice movie with Tim Burton. And Tim Burton, like all directors, like to use people they can trust. Nothing wrong with that. He turns out that Michael Keaton is a great actor, and I will give you 110%. And he was amazing in this movie. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. I fucking love that bit. So, wow, I've just used all my oxygen for the next hour now. Ronnie Dodge, what time are you on, mate? The time is 11:07 here in Cyprus. So you're probably having your cornflakes or something, Ronnie. Thank you for linking me up with that Tom Welling video. Very, very exciting, Ronnie. A Smallville animated series is being developed. I'm very excited. I think they will be involved in the Flash movie. Tom Welling saying that he wants to get as many of the previous actors and characters involved. Now, of course, we don't have to ask Tom this. Please don't go to Cameo asking him about Ali Mack, Allison, because you know she's got so many legal problems. She's about to go on trial for her freedom. I don't think it'll be her life, but for her freedom. I think she's basically trying to help them to get a reduced sentence. So unless there's a miracle and she gets released, and I know what she did was despicable, but there's a place in my heart for Allison and her Chloe character. So I definitely think she's learned her lesson. I think she was manipulated by that guy. And I hope she doesn't get punished too much. But it would be great to have Chloe back, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So don't go asking Tom about Ali because, It's nothing to do with him. You know what? He can't say anything. It's a legal proceeding. So don't put him in that situation. But importantly, the two most important people in Smallville history, Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum, are developing this. That means we get Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor back in animation. Michael's a top boy, top man, because he refused to be in Crisis because they didn't tell him the story, they didn't tell him where he'd have to be, and they didn't say anything about money. Michael stood firm because he believes in the integrity of what he did with Lex Luthor, and he knew that Berlanti was going to fuck it up. Look what he did to Tom Welling's Clark Kent. So I'm looking forward to this. Now, what are they going to do here? Are they going to continue from season 10? Are they going to adapt the Smallville season 11 comic? Or are they going to do their own thing? Are they going to use Berlanti's I don't want to be Superman anymore bullshit? Or are we actually going to do something special here? Let's see what happens. It's going to be interesting. Maybe something happens and Clark has to take the blue ring off again. I can live with that. For me, look, that's not Smallville canon. Not many Smallville fans like that, rightly so. But this is exciting. Smallville is coming back as an animated series. It's so exciting and it's so awesome. So as I say, today isn't about reading articles. There's not really any updates that I'm interested in. So today we are focusing on Michael Keaton's Batman 89 movie, or should I say Tim Burton's Batman 89 movie, over 32 years since it released. A very special blue touch paper moment in the history of CBMs and Hollywood. I still think it's one of the best comic book movies ever made, although I prefer Batman Returns, but I think that's a great movie. It's fantastic. And as you can tell, I haven't even opened this yet. I normally watch this film on Netflix. So I'm keeping it a bit pristine because it's quite special, really special. Let's talk about Jack Nicholson's iteration of the Joker. I'm already losing my voice, Jesus Christ. Jack Nicholson's iteration of the Joker is fucking nuts. It is, it's brilliant. Now, people go on about the other iterations, Joaquin Phoenix, Heath Ledger, and they're great. But Nicholson did something really amazing here. It could be campy sometimes, but it was so inventive, so creative. This guy is fucking off his nut. He's still a killer. He's still off his nut. But it's so entertaining what he does when he kills the guy with the acid in the flour on his chest, right? That's just so fucking random. I'm glad you're dead. I'm glad you're dead. I love that. Or when he shoots Jack Palance. You set me up over a woman. I just love it. I just think the whole thing is great. Burton, Sam Hamm, all these people who constructed this movie, fucking geniuses. And let me say this about Tim Burton. Actually, Tim Burton was treated worse by WB than Zack Snyder was. He had a third movie ready to go. He was about to start shooting a Superman movie where Superman they were going to do the Superman Lives story with Nicolas Cage, one of the biggest celebrity Superman fans out there. This film was going to be off its nut and amazing. Forget the YouTube videos you've seen of Nicolas Cage looking a bit odd. They were going to fix that. We learned that in the documentary, right? So it's a shame because the Tim Burton DC cinematic universe was beginning to expand and very exciting. I would want no one back then than Tim Burton. What Tim Burton did was amazing. But it's too dark. Like they said with Snyder, it's too dark, it's too depressing, we can't stand any toys. You see, I'm sounding like some of the die-hard Snyder fans, but it's true. It is frustrating when you see something good and you want it to continue. I understand why the Snyder fans are so frustrated because what Snyder did was so good, he wasn't going to do it forever. He just wanted to tell his story. Just get rid of him. Just let him do it. Then you can say, goodbye, mate. Thanks, but we're not going to do anything else with you. It would have been over. Same with Tim Burton. But Tim Burton was expanding a DC cinematic universe. He was going to introduce Superman. Nicolas Cage as Superman. He may not be your ideal Superman, but he's such a great actor. Sandra Bullock as Lois Lane? Nope. I can't stand. Something you need to know about me. I can't stand Sandra Bullock. I think she's such an overrated actor. But she's been successful over DNA. It's all about DNA in Hollywood, and her DNA is apparently very, very special. Ziegler's DNA. We won't go into that. That's how Hollywood works, unfortunately. But I regret not seeing the expansion of the Tim Burton DC Cinematic Universe. And I think it would have been great. I really do. Honestly, it would have been amazing. He could have introduced other characters. You know, what we'd rather have? The extension of a Tim Burton DC Cinematic Universe, or what we got with Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. I mean, I don't mind those movies, right? They mean something to me. Yes, they're fun. But, you know, Tim Burton, what he did with those first two movies was fantastic. I don't care what people say. It was great. I don't think they were too dark, to be honest with you. All right, he bit, you know, the penguin bites that guy's nose, or so fucking what? That was great. Danny DeVito as the penguin. Anything wrong with that casting? No. Perfection. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. Perfection. And I could go on and on. He's cast amazing people in these roles. He got it. He got Batman. I think he got Batman. And he wrote the blueprint on what this universe should look like. He really did. Because his Gotham looked like a fantasy land rather than a real city. That's what I prefer. I don't want these fantasy fictional cities to look like New York or California or whatever, or Manhattan. I want them to look like a place that I can't go to. It's aspirational. And we've lost in entertainment and creativity today, we have lost the aspirational part of movies and television drama. And that's so sad, isn't it? Even if you go back to the Australian soaps like Neighbours and Home and Away, they were quite aspirational. You wanted to be Scott Robinson, you know, you wanted to be doing Charlene, right? I mean, that's kind of aspirational. I mean, it's a bit sexist, isn't it? But you know what I mean. Hey, I wanted to marry Charlene. But the point being that films are not aspirational anymore. Tom Cruise in Vanilla Sky or Tom Cruise in Jerry Maguire, a very aspirational movie about a guy who makes a mission statement about everything wrong about the agents, the industry representing sports stars, right? And then he loses his job. And then we have this whole romance. It's a great film. It's an aspirational film. We don't have aspirational characters anymore. I saw the trailer for Candyman yesterday. I was so embarrassed. I think I mentioned it on yesterday's live stream. So embarrassed by it. It was terrible. It really was. So, you know, I don't really rate today's entertainment industry. I think they want to force our heads in the real world. Mention Trump every 5 minutes. I'm bored. I'm bored of them. I'm bored of these people on Twitter. I'm bored of these actors and elites boring on about politics every day. Why don't you just get a bot account where you can talk about it, right? Anyway, you got a right to talk about politics, whoever you are. I understand. But it's boring, especially if you're not interested in politics, because politics is the wrong way to run the world anyway. As we can see, it's a mess. But Batman 89 is a very special movie to me. I think it's a work of art, and I think it's a sensational film, and I could watch it again and again and again. But talking about Michael Keaton and Batman 89, that takes us nicely to the conversation I want to talk about, and that's Michael Keaton in the Flash movie. Now, Michael Keaton in the Flash movie was a very surprising development to me, especially. I've been hearing rumblings about Warner Brothers and Walter Hamada wanting to do something with Keaton since 2018 when Hamada came in. I didn't speak about it because I never thought it would happen. I thought it was bullshit, but people were coming to me all the time saying, you know, they're going to bring Keaton back. They're going to do Flashpoint. They're going to reboot the universe so they can fix what this mess is. Right. And so I always was hearing about Flashpoints. And by the way, the Flash movie, even when Snyder was running it, was always going to be a Flashpoint anyway. From the very off. It was going to be different, of course, in the Snyder style. I think there was one point that Snyder wanted to direct the Flash movie himself when he was running things. That would have been interesting. So it was always going to be a Flashpoint movie. So Andy Muschietti probably was told they wanted to be a Flashpoint. He was told, you're going to do a Flashpoint movie. He's got to reboot the universe and we've got to start from scratch. And this is what we want you to do, of course. So what kind of Batman will Michael Keaton be today? It's kind of the question we were asking about Luke Skywalker. Who is Luke Skywalker today? Before we saw him expansively in The Last Jedi, we saw who he was, a bitter and twisted old man, which probably makes sense. It's just a version of Luke Skywalker that wasn't requested. People didn't want. They wanted him leading and training new Jedi and things like that. I come up with a great story for the sequel trilogy, where we're actually going to be dealing with new galaxies and new planets and new aliens. And basically, he's at the Jedi Temple at the beginning as an old man. He's training people. He's got a Padawan he's training who will take over from him. You know, Leia's doing her stuff, running things. Her and Han are together. They have their son, Ben. Then all of a sudden, there's an invasion of the Republic. The Republic's been invaded by a new force no one's ever heard of. And there's a big fuck-off war. And that's what I would have done. And then Mark Hamill's Luke could be the hero. His Padawans, the people he's training, would have to start fighting as well. It would be very awesome, very expansive, and very exciting for a trilogy. That's what I would have done. That's the kind of thing people wanted. Nobody asked for this. No, but now, this is the problem, though, because Rian Johnson will say to you, but I'm a director, I'm an artist. I'm doing this. Suck it up. But then we're the customer. If you don't give us something we want, why should we pay our money? That's the divide. That's the problem. That's the issue with Batman v Superman as well. These are the same discussions that will go on forever. So in terms of Michael Keaton and Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne and Batman, they've got to be careful not to tread over the Last Jedi balls, because that would be a disaster. This cannot fail. I've told you before, this cannot fail, or there's no DC cinematic universe. You'll literally just see DC movies once in a blue moon, like you used to with Batman 89 and Batman Returns. There'll be no interconnection. It will be dead. We don't want it dead. This must succeed. They must execute this brilliant strategy to the best of their ability, or we are all finished enjoying DC live action. So, I want to see stuff like Barry telling him that Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne and Batman were branding people. I want to see his reaction to this. I want Ezra Miller's The Flash saying, my Bruce Wayne would never do that. So some great moments like that. We've also heard, and I mentioned this yesterday, that he's got as much screen time in the Flash movie as Sean Connery did in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So that's exciting. If you are a Michael Keaton Batman fan. So I think that's amazing. I truly, truly do. And I think we've got something really special here in terms of having Michael Keaton in this movie. Welcome to the second viewer. We are celebrating Batman 89 today. Also, the breaking news is that Tom Welling, the second viewer's gone. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, Tom Welling has confirmed, even though you've gone, that, what was I going to say? Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum are developing a Smallville animated series, which is really exciting, and I expect those two and many more Smallville alums to be in the Flash movie as well. Very excited, because I love Smallville, and I've also said I'm going to start watching and reviewing each episode from Smallville from beginning to end. So I'm excited about that, and I hope you're excited about that as well. So, yeah. So it's very important that Michael Keaton's Batman works in this. You can't just stand him there and say, ooh, it's Michael Keaton's Batman. No. Has to be done properly. There's so many ways they could fuck this up if they're not careful. So they have to be careful here. He's royalty, basically. And everyone's excited about this. And him and Ezra interacting, it's going to be great. And I can't wait for this. There's so many fans pumped for this. And so, when talking about Batman 89, this is actually not the longest of movies. We talk about people complaining about movies not being long enough anymore because WB are interfering with the length of them. Most of the time, that's not the truth. They interfered with the length of Justice League, but they don't interfere with the other DC movies. Maybe the Suicide Squad movie, the first one, not this one coming up, of course. You don't mess with James Gunn or he walks. So, I've got such a terrible throat, you know. I talk too loudly. That's the problem. I was going to take some paracetamol and then I changed my mind just to help my throat out. But it doesn't matter. We will persevere. So I want to know what you think of Batman 89. What do you think of Michael Keaton as Batman? Kim Basinger, Jack Nicholson. What do you think of his Joker? I love his Joker. I've already said that his Joker was off his nut. I know people go on about Heath Ledger, but this Joker was so good. So good. He was nuts. He was off his nut. He was amazing. I thought what Nicholson did with him was sensational, and people love Nicholson's Joker. And I love Nicholson's Joker, but as soon as Heath Ledger arrived, much better than Nicholson. No, he's not better than Nicholson. He's different to Nicholson. He's great, but he's not better than Nicholson. No one's better than Jack Nicholson at doing anything. Jack Nicholson is the fucking Don. He's the gold standard. Not just with Joker, with anything. This man is one of the greatest, most iconic actors of all time. And he played the Joker in such a sensational way. And I mean, he was a killer. He was brutal, but he was also very, very funny as well. You could have a laugh with this Joker. That's what I think was amazing. He was actually funny in places, which is rare these days. I think in the animation with Mark Hamill, you can laugh with him. But I don't think the Heath Ledger version and the Joaquin Phoenix one are that funny, which is interesting. Not that they have to be funny, but I think in the history of the Joker, especially in the comics, there's elements of him that you can have fun with. And you certainly could with Jack Nicholson's Joker, which I think is amazing, really. So is he the best Joker? Is there a best Joker? Ronnie Dodge, Michael Keaton is one of the greatest Batman, and so glad he's back for The Flash and beyond. So am I, Ronnie. Let's hope they get him right. As I say, it's not just about him standing and being there. He has to be gotten right. He has to be done well. Otherwise, there's no point having him there. So I'm very excited about him being there. But let's do this version of Batman justice for sure. And so Batman, I think Batman 89 for me is a 10 out of 10 CBM. It's an amazing CBM. The music is sensational. It really is. The Batman theme is so gothic. It's a gothic movie. That's what Burton did. But of course, Burton loves gothic. He does. Gothic is his middle name. So the haunting gothic style was something he was always going to do. But funnily enough, the gothic style works with Batman, doesn't it? So what Burton did there is kind of, what Burton does is very gothic and fairy tale-y. We saw it with Edward Scissorhands as well. So he's very clever. So I would hope that Tim Burton's been consulting with Andy Muschietti just to make sure that he gets the essence of this character right. Seeing he's going to be in this movie quite a lot as well. It's somewhat important. People will notice. People will say, this is the problem. Oh, he wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have said this. So you've got to be very, very careful. Even though he's an older Batman now, he might be a bit more grouchy. You've got to be careful because people don't want to see that shit. They want to see a continuation of the Batman they saw all those years ago. Even though logically he is going to be old, he is going to be a bit grouchy, but maybe the fans won't like that. I don't know. We're on the internet now and every fucking person's got an opinion. It's difficult. How do you please everyone? I mean, it is impossible, but the moment you stop trying to please everyone is the moment that you should give up. Ronnie Dodge, I agree about getting Keaton right, and everyone is saying the Flash script is great. Yeah, even Ray Fisher, which is amazing. Amazing that even Ray Fisher liked the script. So it's got to be good if Ray likes it. So I'm very, very, very kind of intrigued and excited to see what kind of movie this is going to be. I've got a fair idea of what it's going to be. And we know what they're going to do in the movie. We just don't know how they're going to do it and who else they're going to represent. I definitely believe that Smallville alums will be involved. I think that's another Earth, and why shouldn't it? I think really Flash is kind of a continuation of Crisis on Infinite Earths. That was a multiverse story, and this is a continuation of what happened, because what happened with the rebooting of that universe is going to be connected to obviously the rebooting of this universe, because the DCEU represents a larger scale of the multiverse, of course, because in Crisis, even though they do represent the whole multiverse, I think because this is a movie, they could do so much more with that formula. So I think, if you like, Ronnie Dodge, very interesting. So basically, how you got to see this new strategy is that it all started with Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's why I've bought Crisis on Infinite Earths on Blu-ray, on DVD, and I'm getting it in a few days, because that's the origin story of the new DCEU, of the new DC live action, of this multiverse strategy, of this Hamadaverse, or you could call it the Berlantian Hamadaverse. You can call it whatever you want. The origin story, the origin movie is Crisis on Infinite Earths. The continuation is the Flash movie. That's how I see it. So that is the beginning. That's why I want to see it and start from there, then watch the Flash movie, and then Aquaman and everything else they're going to do. This is how this is going to work. Greg Berlanti and Walter Hamada admitted at Fandom that they're working very closely together. They are running this new DC live action. Very, very exciting. Ronnie Dodge, Zeus on the side of the van on the Flash set is great Easter egg. Does it mean something now, or is it just merely an Easter egg? Could we see Zeus in this movie? Well, anything's possible, right? And very interesting about that rumor about the all the people with abilities having a war, a metahuman war. That will be sick. And wouldn't it be interesting if that war gets set up at the beginning of next season's Flash TV series? This is the kind of thing you're going to see now. The Arrowverse will kind of show you tinges of what we get in the films as well. This makes the Arrowverse even more important now. So as I say, Crisis on Infinite Earths was the beginning. That's why Ezra Miller cameoed. It wasn't just a fun thing to do. This is the beginning of what they're doing. And the Flash movie is part 2. So that's ever so exciting. So if you haven't seen Crisis on Infinite Earths, I have a feeling you're going to need to see it. So check that out if you haven't seen it. It's pretty great. Even though I don't watch Arrowverse religiously, that's where you need to start. Ronnie Dodge, definitely think Ezra will make an appearance in season 8 of The Flash. So do I. I think pre-Flashpoint, or maybe they'll show us a flash of what happens in Flashpoint. That's interesting. Maybe things in the Arrowverse and all the other TV shows will start changing pre the Flash movie, showing us a little sneak peek of what could happen when Barry reboots the universe. Very interesting. If things start changing very, very slowly in all the iterations of these DC shows and these DC movies, that would be very exciting. That could be a direction that they could go in. So very interesting. I try to avoid this sore throat. It's not even a sore throat. It's just when I talk too much, my throat fucks up. I've been up since 6 a.m. I've done TikTok. I've done Instagram. I've done Snapchat. I've done everything. So my voice can't handle it. So yeah, Ezra Miller will be connected to the Flash crossover. I think that's a bigger crossover than people think. Obviously, COVID rulings and initiations are going to kind of be a bit lower. America are doing great, by the way, with COVID. I don't really hear of any problems over since Biden's taken over. I mean, the vaccine program has been sensational. When you think of the size of America and the size of the UK, a small little island, yes, they've had a good vaccination program, but look how they let the variants in. There's a big difference. That's embarrassing. Ronnie Dodge, what do you think of Tom Welling trying to do a Smallville animated series? Yes, I'm very excited, Ronnie, and thank you for giving me that. I actually played the video at the beginning of this live stream, and I've spoken about it. But yeah, very exciting. But I also believe that Tom and Michael and other Smallville alums will appear in the Flash movie and maybe have some movies of their own or some kind of revival. Apart from the animated series, I think other stuff's happening with Smallville as well through this multiverse strategy. It's one of the most popular live action iterations of DC. So, you know, Hamada and Berlanti understand that they need to grab hold of that again. So, Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum, our very own Clark Kent and Lex Luthor, are developing a series. Now, Tom has said an animated series for Smallville to continue the stories of these characters. As Tom said, could they adapt Smallville, the season 11 comic? Probably. Could they continue from what Berlanti did on Crisis, even though I didn't like what they did there, having him retire? It's interesting anyway. We'll see what happens. Obviously, he's got to go back to being Superman eventually. And of course, it'll be interesting what they do with the animated series. I'll be very excited to see that, and I'm excited that they're developing it. So that's awesome, and we'll see what's going on there. So yes, Ronnie, that's brilliant news for me. I'm a big Smallville fan. As I say, I'm going to start rewatching them and reviewing them on this channel, episode per episode. So that's a very exciting thing for me to do. And let's see if we get interest for that, especially now they're developing an animated series and potentially they could show up on The Flash as well. I'm very, very interested. I'm very excited to go back to that series. But I've been thinking about rewatching Smallville for a very long time. It's a show I know so well. So awesome. So yes, it is over 32 years since Batman 89 released. And what a movie. What an event. If you wasn't there, if you wasn't alive to experience the marketing for Batman 89, you don't know what you missed. This has got to be the biggest marketing for a CBM. I mean, the only one I've seen bigger is Batman versus Superman. The marketing for this CBM was sensational. They were literally making us think this was the biggest event of all time. And of course, it was. This was the first proper Batman film ever made. And people were so excited. And just think about that as well. We had music from Prince. Wow. It was a massive event. And the build-up was so huge. And I think when everyone watched it, they were a little bit underwhelmed at the time because they felt, well, you built this up so much, we thought it was going to be something else. But still a great movie, by the way. Ronnie Dodge, I do hope we get a version of the Batman 89 film in The Flash. I think Benjamin will do a great job. I think that's a foregone conclusion, Ronnie. There's absolutely no way they're not going to touch on that theme. Richie Mo, I was there, lol. Good for you, Richie. So was I. It was amazing, wasn't it? It was an amazing experience. It just seemed like the biggest event of all time, didn't it? Amazing. It was an exciting time. It was a great movie. No question about that. It was a great event. Especially, I remember as a kid in the cinema when Batman has got his motor in the air, whatever it's called, not the back chopper, but he's got this wing machine in the air, and the music starts, and he's getting ready to fight the Joker in the final act. I love that bit. This throw, I tell you what, this throw was fine. I'm telling you, this throw was fine before I started this video. Think about that. There's someone up there who doesn't want me doing videos. Well, up yours, mate. I ain't going to church, whatever you do, right? Just leave me alone. Richie Mo, as a kid, it was amazing. I'm going to make a statement about Batman 89. Tim Burton is the most talented director, greatest director to ever make a Batman film. Ronnie Dodge, I do feel like The Flash will market the hell of Michael Keaton's returns. Well, they'd be stupid not to, wouldn't they? He's iconic. Richie Mo, and he flips up and stops in front of the moon. I know that was such a great idea by Tim Burton. I just love it, and it works as the bat signal, doesn't it, as well? Ronnie Dodge, you tell them, Mick. Oh, absolutely, Ronnie. Tim Burton is an unproblematic director, but he was treated worse by WB. I've said it earlier in the stream. He was treated worse by WB than Zack Snyder was. He was going to do a third movie. They said it was too dark and depressing and we want to sell toys. He was going to do a Superman movie. He was going to expand his DC universe with Nick Cage's Superman. And I think even Batman was going to be in that movie as well. It was going to be a Superman Lives movie. And as bad as Nick Cage looked in the old videos, they were going to fix all that. It was going to be an awesome movie. And we would have had an expanded Tim Burton DC universe. He was treated much worse than Snyder was. But he is the most talented director to ever make a Batman movie. Simple as that. In my opinion. It's not a universal opinion. It's my opinion. Just look at the films he's done. There's that Fish movie with Ewan McGregor. Fucking amazing. There's Edward Scissorhands. That's his unique take on Charlie on the Chocolate Factory. Richie Mo, Joker pulling that huge pistol out of trousers, low, it's quality. Yeah, that's why I like Jack Nicholson's Joker, because not only is he a bit frightening, not only is he's a lunatic and a psychopath, he's actually quite funny as well. And this is why people talk about Ledger and Phoenix But actually, Nicholson's Joker has everything. He has the all-round things, and I love it. Sam DeSandre Hughes, I don't want to see Nicolas Cage as Superman. Oh, Sam, sorry to disagree with you. I respect your opinion, but I absolutely want to see him, and you will see him in the Flash movie, definitely. And it's very exciting for a lot of us. Ronnie Dodge, truth. Burton was treated worse than Snyder, but fans won't admit that. Not only was he treated worse, Ronnie, he didn't pull the stunts that Snyder and his fans have been pulling. That's interesting. So Tim Burton has actually made many films for Warner Brothers since Batman 92. So that says a lot as well. That's the difference. That's how you play the game. And at least he got to make 2 Batman movies and an Edward Scissorhands movie and a Charlie and a Chocolate Factory movie. Wow, he's made so many amazing movies, and he's pure escapism as well. I love him. What about those animated movies, The Nightmare Before Christmas? The man is multi-talented. Ronnie Dodge, his Sleepy Hollow is amazing. Everything he does is fucking amazing. His fucking Alice in Wonderland movie. He didn't direct the second one. I think he directed the first one. Amazing. The man is a genius. He's made multiple movies, and he's unproblematic. Tim Burton always gets what he wants, but he knows how to do it, and he knows he doesn't do it via these tactics we've seen from Snyder. So, yeah, I mean, I love Snyder's DC movies. I have to say that for the dim people in the back of the room, in case you don't understand the balanced conversation. But, yes, Tim Burton is amazing. Richie Mo, have you seen the behind the scenes of them making the suit with all the lights and stuff in it for Cage's Superman? Yeah, I think the suit would have looked amazing in the film. I think it didn't look great in that YouTube video, that mock-up video. But as they did in that Snap documentary, which is amazing if you want to see it, the true story of Superman Lives, or whatever it is, right? It's an amazing documentary. But I think it would have been an amazing movie, and continuing the Tim Burton DC universe, which would have been exciting. Sam DeSandre Hughes, the suit is terrible. I don't see Nicolas Cage's Superman. You just saw the suit in a mock-up, Sam. You didn't see it in a movie. There's a big difference, my friend. Ronnie Dodge, maybe WB will offer him to come back to do a DCEU movie. I would love that. Nicolas Cage, well, yes, I would love Tim Burton to do some stuff with DC. Again, that would be great. Richie Mo, Sleepy Hollow is amazing. Every Tim Burton film is sensational as far as I'm concerned. As I say, I think the man's a genius. He's one of my favourite creatives. And I mean, as I say, unproblematic. He's like one of these hippies, isn't he? I love that about him. Definitely would love to see Nicolas Cage's Superman back and set up in that universe. I'd love that. And anything's possible now. Sam DeSandre Hughes, Tim Burton directed The Corpse Bride, another classic. I can name you so many that this guy has done. I love Tim Burton. I think Tim Burton's sensational. And I think his 2 Batman films are sensational. He has a unique idea of the world he wants to create. I like that. He's not obsessed with the real world. He gives us some escapism. He gives us a fairy tale. He gives us a gothic horrors. He gives us gothic fairy tales. I like that. It's like what everyone says. Richie Mo, Miss Peregrine, Home for Peculiar Children. Exactly. Man's a genius. Jesus Christ, when you compare his CV to Snyder's CV is pretty bare, isn't it? Beetlejuice was one of his first movies, an amazing movie. That's where he first worked with Michael Keaton. And that's why Michael Keaton got the Batman gig, and rightly so. He was a great Batman. Sam DeSandre Hughes, do you think we will see Power Girl in the DCEU? Well, I think these are characters that can be there. They're going to have to change what they did with her in some of the animated stuff a bit disrespectful up top, if you know what I mean. I think they wanted to show that she... Anyway, but because, if you watch the animation, it's you kind of think, is her superpower, Anyway, very distracting. But yes, Power Girl will probably get done eventually. Why not? Ronnie Dodge, I can't wait to see Burton's Gotham again. Its Gotham is the best. He must have been part of them rebuilding it. They couldn't, surely they didn't just, because basically, right, that's another thing, Ronnie. If it doesn't look good, if it doesn't look authentic to the first one in the style of Tim Burton, they got a problem. It's got to look exactly the same. Sam Dejan reviews. Tim Burton directed Frankenweenie. I love Frankenweenie. Frankenweenie's another classic. Richie Mo's second movie, Pee-wee, was first. Oh, right, okay, yeah. He's amazing. He's amazing. He's a genius. The man is a fucking genius. Argue with the wall. Sam Dejan reviews. Tim Burton needs to direct Batman Beyond. I would really enjoy that. We will see, my friend. We will see. I will have words with anyone who doesn't like Tim Burton as a creative. He's amazing. Because when I watch a film with Tim Burton, he takes me to another world, a gothic fantasy world with lots of smoke and fog and creepy music. I love it. I love it. Richie Mo, yeah, Burton's Gotham is by far the best. It's pure escapism. Fucking hell, the man's amazing. I love him. I think he's great, honestly. Ronnie Dodge, I liked his version of Dumbo. Do you know what? I haven't actually seen that, and I should. But you know what? Disney really like him as well. It's funny. Even if it's interesting with Tim, you know, have you noticed his Disney films don't make that much money? Although his Alice in Wonderland did pretty well because it's an amazing movie. And his casting of Maya, I love Maya. I think Maya's great. But yeah, his movies on Disney don't make money, that much money, but they always bring him back. They seem to like his creativity, and he works well with Disney, so that's interesting. Richie Mo, I love fantasy films, and nobody does it like Burton. No, exactly. I don't mean no, I disagree. I mean no, exactly. Nobody does it like Burton. Burton should be very much a pivotal place of the DC Extended Universe. I'd take him right now. He's amazing. He's so unique. He's got a very unique kind of, I suppose, opinion of the world. I think that's what I see. Even good people, even his heroes are kind of a bit haunting, aren't they? Which I like. Nobody does it better. Makes me feel sad for the rest. Nobody does it quite as good as Tim Burton. Baby, you're the best. It's really great that I'm glad I decided to talk about Batman 89 and celebrating over 32 years of the film being released. And thank you, Ronnie, for showing me what Barbara Machete put up. That reminded me that it's over 32 years now. Ronnie Dodge, I don't like the real world, nor the real world Gothams. I'd rather be taken out of the real world, and that's why I love Burton. Yeah, exactly. We don't want to talk about commentary about the real world or identity politics or any other problems. We want escapism, especially with superheroes, right? You can do real stuff somewhere else, right? But leave our superhero universes alone. Sam Dejan reviews. Tim Burton did the live-action Frankenweenie for Disney, and he got fired by Disney. Yeah, and then they brought him back again. Yeah, he got fired by Disney, Sam, but he went back to Disney. Didn't he, Sam? Which proves my point. Even though his films don't make that much money, they always use him. They've been having a great relationship with him for many years. Yes, so they did fire him, but they also brought him back, Sam. Richie Mo, he started at Disney as an animator. He worked on The Black Cauldron, that's right, and proposed for Frankenweenie. So Disney thought he was weird and let him go. But what happened afterwards, Richie? They brought him back again. Didn't they? He is weird. That's why I love him. He is weird. I love weird people because I'm weird. I don't like normal, everyday people. They bore me and they're like these Adolf Hitlers that everything has to be normal, everything has to be the same, or they don't like it. Ronnie Dodge, I'm very interested for the new actor playing Henry Allen for The Flash. So am I. I don't know much about him, but I'm sure he will be great. I'm sure he is. I'm sure a certain fan base will say he's not very good and insult him and insult his family and send him, abuse, but I'm not about that. So I'm sure he's going to be great and I support him in the role. We have about 10 minutes of this stream. So if for the 4 of you who are here, I want to say anything, get your comments and get your questions down. Don't forget, I will be back later on. And for the Movies TV Mad live from around 6:30 p.m. UK time. Check your local times where we can chat and exchange views and opinions. So that's Movies TV Mad live from around 6 p.m. tonight UK time. Rishi Mo, I'm not saying anything bad about him leaving Disney, just stating his origin. I didn't think you were saying anything bad. I was just making sure that people understand that he was fired by them, but he's had a great relationship ever since. That's the origins, yeah. But it shows you that Disney respect him a great deal. And they realized after he left that actually this guy had a good idea. Let's let him do it. And all these Frankenweenies and all of these kind of, didn't he do the other one? God, what was it? What's that one with the little girl in it? I can't remember now. Ronnie Dodge, I just really hope we have a scene with Gowan Keaton in the future. Imagine. That would be pretty cool. We will see. I mean, there's potential for that kind of stuff. Richie Mo, is his new Addams Family live action or animated? I'm not sure he's doing that with Netflix, isn't he? So I think that's got to be live action. I think it's live action. I'm not sure, though. But I'm very excited for anything Tim Burton does. He's a name that people love. Because you know what you're going to get with Tim. That's the thing. You know he's going to take you to another world. And, you know, if you don't do it his way, he just won't work. So they have to let him do what he wants because he's Tim Burton. There's no point bringing Tim Burton to do anything if you don't let him be Tim Burton. Ronnie Dodge. Oh, Rishi Mo. Coraline. I love Coraline, lol. No, that was the same stop motion artist from the company, Leica. But didn't Tim Burton do Coraline? I swear he did Coraline. Are you sure he didn't do Coraline? Ronnie Dodge, did you see Gal has got a Wonder Woman car? Did you see Gal has got a Wonder Woman car? What do you mean, a Wonder Woman car? She's driving a Gal Gadot's driving a Wonder Woman car? This film would definitely be in my top 10 of all-time CBNs. Definitely. Hardly any MCU movies would be in my top 10, if any. This is far superior than any MCU movie. Let's get that straight. Ronnie Dodge, it's a car she has that has the Wonder Woman logo. Oh, interesting. Richie Mo, 100% didn't make it. I'm a huge fan of their movies like Box Trolls and Kubo. Yeah, I like their movies as well. And they're very, very Tim Burton style. And that's why I mistakenly thought he did it. But I bet you any money he has some kind of connection to those movies. Connections we don't know about, but they're too similar to what he does. So anyone who's come into the chat, the extra person, we've been talking and celebrating 32 years since the release of Batman 89. Also, we have broken the news that over on Cameo, Tom Welling, a.k.a. Clark Kent from Smallville, has said him and Michael Rosenbaum, a.k.a. Lex Luthor, are developing a Smallville animated series, and I'm so excited. Ronnie Dodge, the one thing I love from The Flash set is the bus of Wonder Woman seeing kids in hospital in her spare time. Yeah, that's a great touch. They understand Wonder Woman. She can be compassionate and still have the sword and shield. Something Patty Jenkins simply didn't understand. Richie Mo, the head of animation, made Corpse Bride with Burton. That's the connection. Yeah, still it seems very, very, very Burtonish, doesn't it? Sam Dejan reviews. I'm looking for to Tim Burton's Wednesday Netflix series. Yeah, gonna be awesome. as I said, anything Tim Burton does, I will watch. Tim Burton's amazing, as I keep on saying. The man has just got he just does things in a way that makes you feel it's very familiar, but the escapism is beautiful. Ronnie Dodge, she has the sword and shield on the side of the bus as well. Yeah, Patty Jenkins is done then. Patty Jenkins is done, finished. Patty Jenkins will never make a Wonder Woman movie again if that's the case. They've gone against what she wanted, basically. She's dead, finished. Did you notice a few weeks back when a gal hashtag Wonder Woman 3 and Patty was nowhere to be seen on the celebration of a movie she was supposed to have directed, right? Think about that. Patty Jenkins is done. Finito. Over. And quite right too. And if she isn't, I will be disappointed for one. No, I don't think she should. No, before someone says I don't think she deserves to finish off her trilogy, I'm not interested. I am not interested. I am not interested in this, oh, let's make an inspiring movie. It's the right time. It's the right movie at the right time. Yeah. And let's make Maxwell Lord into Donald Trump because we can't stop talking about boring, old, overweight, pointless Donald Trump. I don't care about Donald Trump. Stop talking about him. Stop creating characters and putting him in there. It's pointless. Stop going on about him. He's not even the fucking president anymore. Get over it. Woo! Sam Jones Views. David Cronenberg needs to direct the DCEU movie. David Cronenberg. A movie. Listen. Have you ever seen Dead Ringers starring Jeremy Irons? One of the best films I've ever seen. Sensational. But David Cronenberg doing a DCEU movie, that's like Tarantino doing a Star Trek movie. That would be nuts. I mean, I'd be very excited, but God knows what he'd give us. That guy's nuts, but very talented. Sanders and Reviews. Tim Burton didn't do Coraline. Yes, I know. Thank you. Ronnie Dodge. Okay, Mick, calm down. Jesus. Well, I've had enough, Ronnie. I've had enough. I don't care about I don't care about Donald Trump. I don't support him. I don't like him. He's a twat, but I don't want to keep on talking about him. It's over. Sanders and Reviews. Have you seen the James and the Giant Peach movie? Yes. Who did that movie? Was that Tim? Jesus Christ. Tim Burton's done 20 billion more times movies than Zack Snyder, hasn't he? It's amazing how few movies Zack's made. I mean, he's nearly 60. I love those kind of movies anyway. 4 minutes to go, everyone. It's got to be 4 minutes because I've got to do something very, very glamorous. It's not glamorous, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's the kind of life that I lead, unfortunately. It's not all glamour for me out here in Cyprus, you know. Ronnie Dodge, I just hope Zack is happy on Netflix. Well, he's got no choice, really, has he, Ronnie? I mean, he wants to make DC movies. That's the truth of the matter, and he must be devastated. But unfortunately, when you're working for someone and you're using other people's money, you've also got to respect what they want partially. And they need to respect what you need as well, to a point. There needs to be a coming together, a collaborative effort. Zack doesn't want to collaborate with a studio. He wants to do whatever he wants. And that's never going to work. Not with Disney, not with Warner, not with Universal, not with anyone. Only with Netflix because they don't get involved creatively as a habit. They went with Zack because Zack is talked about. That's why they brought Zack Snyder in, and he's got a fan base. That's why they brought him in. It's been a really great Movies TV Mad Daily Live, everyone. I've really enjoyed it. It was a slow start, obviously. With this show in the morning, it doesn't really normally matter if people come in. I mean, I was talking about Batman 89, and I wanted to keep on talking about it, so it was cool. That there wasn't many people in the chat earlier. And plus, people who rewatch it can see it as a proper, like, editorial in a way. Ronnie Dodge, Ray Fisher tweeted Restore the Snyderverse the other day. I replied, is that because you're a part of the multiverse and attacking people? Oh, Ronnie. Jeff Hill, sup. Jeff always seems to come at the end of the video. Ronnie Dodge. Hello, Jeff. How are you doing, mate? Ronnie Dodge, you're not a part of the multiverse, I mean. Well, he can be. He just has to say he's up for it. He could be part of the multiverse. He doesn't have to be. He ousted himself. That's the point I'm making. He could very well be part of the multiverse. He could actually still be in the Flash movie, Ronnie. Just remember that. Nothing's ever over in this industry. If it makes money, it can still work out. He could have already shot his cameo. We don't know. And maybe he hasn't said he's in it because he's under an NDA and he's not allowed. Ronnie Dodge, if he does, maybe he should just shut up and apologise to Walter. Probably never going to happen. Listen, if he's in the bloody movie, I'd be so happy. He can say what he wants. I don't even care anymore. It's not my business. But I don't agree with him when it comes to Walter Hamada, and that's definite. So, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in for the Movies TV Mad Daily Live. It's been great. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, on Instagram and TikTok at Movies TV Mad 555. It's been a sensational stream. The past few weeks doing these live streams have really changed things for me. No, it hasn't increased my following, by the way. It hasn't given me more subscribers. It's given me less subscribers because I mouth off about stuff that people don't want to hear. But you used to be saying, that's the problem. But in terms of enjoyment and me interacting with the fans and everything, that's what I mean by enjoyable. But I have noticed I have gained a couple of subscribers lately, so that's exciting for me as well. Sam Dazan Reviews. David Cronenberg did A History of Violence. That's a DC movie. Oh, right. I didn't know that was a DC movie, but yeah. He's a genius, by the way. His Dead Ringers film is the film that I've seen, and it's sensational. Anyway, everyone, I will see you tonight for Movies TV Mad Live from 6:30 p.m. UK time. Check your local times. There may be a couple of pre-recorded videos if I've still got the energy. So until then, goodbye, everyone, and thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you for your support. Until later on, until I see you later, goodbye.